Harley-Davidson's $50,000 flagship motorcycles are now being marked down to just $15,000, and desperate dealers are warning, all must go. Across America, nearly 47,000 brand new bikes, worth over $2.3 billion, sit unsold, some collecting dust for 8 months or more as carrying costs soar to $341 per bike per day. It's an inventory crisis Harley never saw coming, turning showroom floors into graveyards lined with CVO street glides at fire sale prices and sales managers begging for buyers. Why are premium Harleys suddenly so unwanted? And how did the most iconic name in motorcycles end up here? The answer is bigger and more alarming than anyone on Main Street could have imagined. Dealerships across the country are overwhelmed, their showrooms and backlots transformed into warehouses of unsold Harleys. In Dallas, 247 brand new motorcycles fill every inch of available space, aisles packed so tightly that sales staff struggle to move bikes for test rides. The average age of these machines? 8.3 months. That's nearly an entire model year spent gathering dust, not miles. Multiply that by a $25,000 average sticker price, and you're looking at $6.2 million in inventory, just sitting, untouched. Every day a bike sits unsold, the meter keeps running. Floor plan financing charges, essentially interest on inventory, add up fast. For one Dallas dealer, that's $341 per bike per day. In a single month, carrying costs hit $47,000, more than the salary of many American workers. Across the US, the numbers are staggering. Nearly 47,000 unsold Harleys, worth over $2.3 billion, are parked on dealer lots. These machines aren't leftovers or oddball models. They're current year road glides, street bobs, lowrider STs, and even top-shelf CVO street glides that once commanded $50,000 price tags. The financial strain is relentless. A Miami dealer, sitting on 312 unsold bikes, has racked up over $180,000 in floor plan interest in just 6 months. Some of those bikes have been waiting for buyers since last year's model launch. In Sacramento, a dealership with 289 unsold units is already 3 months behind on its floor plan payments, facing closure if it can't move 150 bikes by October. The general manager, a 28-year veteran, calls it the worst he's seen, comparing it to paying Harley-Davidson just to store their inventory. This isn't just a big city problem. Industry data shows the average Harley dealer now holds 27% more inventory than normal, with some regions carrying nearly double their historic stock. That's about 36,000 bikes, almost 1 in 5 rolling straight from the factory to a dealer's floor, never reaching a customer. Dealers call it shipped not sold. It's a bookkeeping trick that props up Harley's shipment numbers, but leaves local businesses drowning in inventory they can't move. The burden isn't confined to American soil. Shipping manifests from the Port of Long Beach reveal 47 brand new Harleys loaded onto a container bound for Vietnam, labeled as used motorcycles despite having 0 miles, an export workaround to avoid flooding the US market further. Dealers see this as a sign of how desperate things have become. Better to offload bikes at a loss overseas than admit the scale of the domestic glut. For many, the math no longer works. Dealers are forced to dedicate more and more of their revenue just to cover the cost of unsold bikes. Every unsold Harley represents a double hit: money tied up in inventory and cash bleeding away with each passing day. The result is a network of embattled businesses, each one hoping for a miracle buyer, while the clock and the interest never stops. CVO Street Glide. 3 words that used to mean the absolute pinnacle of Harley-Davidson luxury. Chrome for days, custom paint, every conceivable upgrade, and a sticker price that could top 50 grand before you even left the showroom. For years, these bikes were the ultimate status symbol. Dealers would get just a handful, and buyers lined up, checkbooks ready, for the privilege of owning one. But that was then. Now, something unthinkable is happening. Walk into a Harley dealership today and you'll find CVO street glides lined up with bright red clearance tags. $15,000 off, sometimes more. That's a third of the value gone overnight. One Dallas dealer is advertising a 2024 CVO Street Glide for $34,995, down from an original MSRP of $49,999. Another in Florida has a leftover 2023 model with every option, marked down to $32,800. These aren't demo bikes or hail-damaged leftovers. They're brand new, zero-mile machines, untouched except for the dust gathering on their fenders. What changed? Dealers say they're out of options. The carrying costs alone are brutal. Floor plan interest, insurance, and the relentless drip of depreciation. Every day that CVO sits unsold, it costs the dealer hundreds. Multiply that by months, and the losses pile up faster than the chrome on a CVO's front end. One general manager in Sacramento put it plainly: "We used to fight over who got the next CVO. Now, I'd pay someone to take one off my hands." It's not just the price tags that are falling. The aura of exclusivity has vanished. Shoppers who once dreamed of owning a top-tier Harley now find themselves negotiating from a position of strength, not scarcity. A bike that would have sold for $50,000 last spring now comes with free luggage, a 3-year extended service plan, and zero-down financing, all just to clear floor space. "We're throwing in everything but the kitchen sink," says a Miami sales manager. "If you want a CVO, this is your moment." For longtime Harley fans, it's a strange sight. The very bike that defined the brand's premium image has become the poster child for a market in freefall. The CVO badge, once a guarantee of value, now signals a rare chance to buy low. If you're willing to accept that tomorrow, the price might drop again. What's behind this collapse? That's the question on every dealer's mind as they watch flagship models lose value faster than any time in memory. The answer runs deeper than price tags or clearance sales. It's a story of overproduction, shifting tastes, and a brand struggling to find its footing in a market that's moved on. But for buyers, this is the window of a lifetime. CVO Street Glides, once reserved for the few, are now within reach for thousands. The question is, how long can this last before the floor falls out completely? LiveWire was supposed to be Harley-Davidson's leap into the future. A $30,000 electric motorcycle, unveiled with fanfare and a promise to lead the next era of American riding. The launch was bold, the engineering impressive, and the marketing relentless, but the gamble never paid off. In 2024, Harley managed to sell just 612 LiveWires in the US, falling far short of even the most modest projections. That's less than half the target range of 1,000 to 1,500 units. Dealers, once optimistic, now call the LiveWire a financial anchor. The problem wasn't performance. The LiveWire delivers instant torque, a 0 to 60 time under 3 seconds, and every modern gadget you could want. But it's missing the very thing that built the Harley legend: sound and soul. No rumble, no vibration, no mechanical heartbeat. Riders describe the experience as clinical, smooth and silent, but stripped of the visceral thrill that defines the brand. One longtime Harley owner put it bluntly: "It's fast, but it doesn't feel like a Harley. It could be any appliance." The cultural disconnect runs deep. Harley's core buyers aren't just looking for speed or efficiency. They want to feel the engine in their bones, to announce their arrival with a roar, not a whisper. The LiveWire's silence became its curse. Even the styling, sleek and futuristic, seemed to signal a break from tradition rather than an evolution. Dealers watched as LiveWire sat unsold for months, sometimes years, while V-twin cruisers, at least until recently, cycled through inventory. The electric experiment quickly turned into a warehouse problem. The financial fallout is staggering. Harley's electric division has seen its stock price collapse by 70% since 2022. The company slashed prices again and again, offering up to $12,000 off MSRP just to clear the floor. A bike that launched at $29,799 is now being advertised for as little as $17,999, sometimes with free charging equipment or extended warranties thrown in. One Chicago dealer admitted, "We're losing money on every sale. We just want them gone." The ripple effects go beyond unsold bikes. Dealers are stuck with specialized charging equipment and service tools, investments that now look like sunk costs. Some have resorted to auctioning off leftover stock at steep losses, just to make space for models they can actually move. The LiveWire, once hailed as the future, has become a cautionary tale, proof that technology alone can't redefine a brand built on heritage and emotion. For buyers willing to overlook the silence, the deals are unprecedented. Never before has cutting-edge Harley technology come this cheap. But the lesson is clear. Electrification without the heartbeat of tradition left Harley's identity in limbo and left dealers with a mountain of inventory no one asked for. Pan America was Harley-Davidson's answer to the booming adventure bike market, a segment dominated by BMW's GS line and the Honda Africa Twin. On paper, Harley's engineers delivered. The Revolution Max engine churns out 150 horsepower, the electronic suite includes lean-sensitive traction control, and the suspension adjusts itself on the fly. Early reviews praised its off-road chops and highway comfort. But the Pan America never found a home. Riders who craved dirt and distance rarely dreamed of a Harley badge. For decades, the brand stood for chrome, thunder, and Main Street parades, not mud, GPS, and Gore-Tex. Dealers stocked up, betting on a new kind of Harley buyer. Instead, the bikes sat. In less than 2 years, Pan Americas have lost up to 45% of their value. A 2024 model with an MSRP of $20,199 now changes hands for as little as $14,000 used, sometimes lower if you're willing to haggle. One Denver dealer described it bluntly. "We have more Pan Americas than customers. I could sell you 2 for the price of 1 BMW." The discounts are staggering. New models come with $3,000 to $5,000 knocked off, plus free luggage, crash bars, and a 3-year extended service plan for a single dollar. Some dealers even offer to cover your first year's insurance. For buyers who want maximum spec for minimum cash, this is uncharted territory. But the deals come with a catch. Depreciation on the Pan America is so steep that owners joke about losing money before they even leave the parking lot. The problem isn't the bike, it's the brand mismatch. Harley's reputation for heavy cruisers and V-twin rumble doesn't translate to the adventure crowd, who value reliability, versatility, and a global support network. One longtime ADV rider summed it up. "When you're 200 miles from the nearest town, you want a bike with a dealer in every country, not just every state." Harley tried to lure a new generation with technology and performance, but the Pan America became a cultural orphan, too modern for traditionalists, too branded for explorers. The result is a glut of unsold inventory and a rare moment where buyers hold all the cards. For those willing to gamble on resale, the Pan America is a steal. For dealers, it's another reminder that even the best engineering can't outrun a century of brand baggage. The Nightster's $9,999 sticker price looks like a lifeline for anyone priced out of Harley's premium lineup. Dealers plaster windows with banners, payments as low as $155 a month, 84 months, just 10% down. But the numbers tell a different story. That $155 payment is built on an 11.14% APR, stretched over 7 years, and only available to buyers with top-tier credit. Even then, you'll need nearly $1,000 up front, plus taxes, fees, and insurance that can easily double the true monthly outlay. For a lot of younger buyers, that's a non-starter. Harley's own research says half of all potential riders under 40 are holding back. Not because they don't want to ride, but because the math just doesn't work. Student loans, rising rents, and medical bills eat up every spare dollar. The average American motorcyclist is now 50 years old. For millennials and Gen Z, even entry-level bikes feel out of reach. And a 7-year loan on a $10,000 motorcycle sounds more like a trap than a ticket to freedom. Dealers know it. That's why incentives get more creative every month. Free riding gear, extended service plans, zero-down offers for military and first responders, and cash back for new graduates. One sales manager in Ohio puts it bluntly: "We'll do anything to get a younger rider on a bike, but the banks just won't play ball." Beneath the surface, it's not just about price or payments. Harley's brand, once a rite of passage, now feels out of sync with a generation raised on side hustles and shared rides. The showroom might advertise affordability, but for most young Americans, the Nightster's monthly payment is just the start of a much bigger financial puzzle. Dealership closures have become the new normal. 127 shuttered since January, one every 2.3 days. Each lost store means fewer places to buy, service, or even test ride a Harley. For those still open, the pressure to clear out inventory has reached a fever pitch. The incentives on offer right now are unlike anything this industry has seen. Walk into a dealership today and you'll find ultra-low APRs, 1.49% for select 2024 touring models, $0 down, payments that barely cover the interest, and no cash required up front. For buyers with strong credit, these are terms that would have been laughed off the sales floor just 2 years ago. The desperation isn't limited to financing. Dealers are stacking incentives like never before. Free accessories, extended service plans for a single dollar, cashback for military and first responders, and even offers to pay your first year's insurance. One sales manager in Montana said bluntly, "We have to move these bikes before the bank moves us." The math is simple. Every day a new Harley sits unsold. The dealer pays interest to the floor plan lender, sometimes more than $300 per bike per month. Multiply that across hundreds of units, and the financial strain is crushing. That's why showroom windows are plastered with banners screaming about $0 down, why you'll see leftover CVO models discounted by $15,000, and why even the most exclusive bikes now come with deals that would have been unthinkable in better times. Right now, the power has shifted. For the first time in decades, buyers set the terms. The window won't stay open forever. More closures are coming, and with every shuttered dealership, the chance to score these deals shrinks. For anyone who's ever dreamed of owning a Harley but balked at the price, this is the moment when the impossible suddenly feels within reach. In 2024, Harley-Davidson dealers faced over 47,000 unsold motorcycles, a $2.3 billion inventory hangover, and an average of 8.3 months for bikes to move off showroom floors. The once $50,000 CVO Street Glide selling for $15,000 became a symbol of a company out of sync with its market. Dealer records and floor plan financing documents revealed daily carrying costs exceeding $300 per bike, fueling a wave of closures, 127 dealerships since January alone. While experts and dealer testimony point to misjudged product bets like the LiveWire and Pan America, and an aging customer base, Harley's internal decision-making process remains largely undisclosed. What is clear, the glut created historic buyer leverage, as seen in unprecedented financing offers and markdowns. Whether Harley can adapt to new riders or if this chapter marks a permanent shift is still unknown. For now, the evidence shows an iconic brand at a crossroads, its future shaped by decisions unfolding in real time.